Hello, and welcome to reCapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at reCapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. Oh, Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing, as someone recently said, I'm doing. How are you?
Sometimes it bees like that. Let me tell you, I'm so excited to not only talk about this project that we're going to go ahead and get into, but we have a special guest.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, I am talking about one of my dear, dear friends. We go back, I want to say 5th grade.
Yeah, we go back to the 5th grade. Yeah.
Detroit's finest around here.
Yeah,
Detroit. Oh my goodness. Please, Recap Nation, welcome my dear friend Brandon to the pod. Welcome, Brandon.
Thank you so much for having me, ladies.
Applause. We don't have special effects, but it's there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited to have you, Brandon. So let me tell you about my journey really quick. If you don't know, K-pop Demon Hunters has officially taken over the world, and I'm gleefully on that bandwagon. You know what I mean? Like, I think I was the first adopter too. Like, shout out to me and my household, okay? Because
you were the first of Netflix's watchers to view that movie, you think?
No, but the people who really loved it appreciated that film. That's why I wanted us to recap it. Brandon, why is that like our top recap of this year?
Like, I mean, success comes from strange places. I mean, K-pop Demon Hunters is one of those things where it just kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, they were advertising it, and I was like, oh, I could see that doing well. I didn't expect for it to do that well. It's ridiculous.
See, it's funny that you say that, and this is part of my journey. Because for me, when I saw the title and the glimpse of the trailer, I was like, this looks like a joke. What do you mean, K-pop Demon Hunters? Mind you, my limited understanding of K-pop was Blackpink and BTS, right? So I'm like, oh, they're taking this to a whole nother level in an animated film?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we're going up. Losing my mind, seriously, because it's the music and the visuals, because Sony is in their animation bag. Okay. So I say this to say Instagram was like, bet algorithm. And I think it's all the posts I've been exchanging with our girlfriend Shamika with K-pop Demon Hunters that they were like, if you like K-pop, then you may like anime. Let me introduce you to, and that is what we're recapping today, Howl's Moving Castle. When I tell you, I had no idea Howl existed at all. And to find out this movie is like 20 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness. And I don't know who I talked to first. It might have been David. I was like, have you heard of Howl's Moving Castle? He's like, no. And I'm like, when did this come out? I was like, yep, I was in high school. So this is not on my radar. You know what I mean? I looked it up. The cult following is maddening. Yeah. And so
is Howl within a whole universe? Like, this is a whole thing?
Howl is a part of the prolific work of, his name is Hayao, help me. Miyazaki. Thank you. Legendary animator in both anime and filmmaking. So that's apparently part of it. And then when I found out it was on HBO Max, I was like, bet, let me watch it. It was such a fascinating story that I was like, I would love to talk about this on the podcast, but I know Ashley and I are not anime people. Nope. So I was almost afraid to, because I'm like, I want to give it justice, you know what I mean? And so I was like, who could I call? And so Brandon Brandon is why you're here with us today. So let me go ahead and go through what we usually do. So Howl's Moving Castle. It is an hour, 59 minutes, rated PG. It's a fantasy anime. It came out June 10th, 2025. It's now available on HBO Max. Here's a quick summary. Sophie has an uneventful life at her late father's hat shop, but all that changes when she befriends Wizard Howl, who lives in a magical flying castle. However, the evil Witch of the Waste takes issue on their budding relationship, casts a spell on young Sophie, which ages her prematurely. Now Howl must use all his magical talents to battle the jealous hag and return Sophie to her former youth beauty.
Not the jealous hag.
Listen, they held no punches for that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to highlight the English cast because that's the movie I saw. Here's the cast. We have V. Christian Bell as Howl.
Yeah.
Icon Lauren Bacall as Witch of the Waste. Blythe Danner, Madame Solomon. That is Gwyneth Paltrow's mama, by the way. We have Emily Mortimer as young Sophie. Josh Hutcherson as Markle. Billy Crystal as Calcifer.
That's the first voice I recognized. I was like, is that Billy Crystal?
Yeah, that's the only one that matters.
Popping up in here.
Legend. The writers for this film, Hayao Miyazaki, and this is based off of the beloved children's book by Diane Wynne Jones, who is a British lady. And I'll get to why that's relevant. Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie, critics 88%, 93% from the audience, and Google users gave this film 95%. Ashley, what's your grade for Howl's Moving Castle?
I'll let our guest start. Brandon, you do the honors.
Okay, please refresh me on the scale.
We usually do ABC, or lower, depending.
We've done a couple D's.
Yeah. I've heard you all do a couple of D's on your podcast. Absolutely. I'm going to give this movie a B+. I'm going to give it a B+ because there were some, much like in many times when it comes to anime, you know, there are things that are kind of ambiguous, things that aren't necessarily explained, especially going in with the ending. I feel like that could have been explained more because when I, did a little more research and I found out really why the war ended, I was like, they really could have gone into more detail with that, and as opposed to just having it, like a 30-second scene.
They wrapped it up real quick.
Yeah, they wrapped it up real quick. But I also get it because, like you said, and I'm not trying to move into that so quickly. You said that you were going to get into the books, but yeah, there was a lot more with this that went into the original books, and I get why they did it that way. But the flow and the pacing and the characters and just everything and how you get wrapped up in the world, that's the magic of Studio Ghibli. And that's what I really love about him. So yeah, I'll give this movie a B+.
Okay.
Nice.
So this is my first anime feature, apparently. Nothing else counts. So given that, I went into this just watching it like any other like animated feature, I don't know any history, don't know anything about the book. So it's like, okay, does the storyline work? Do I get sucked into it? What's the character development like? What's the arc like? What's the animation like? I'm not sure how other anime is, but I struggled a little bit with the animation just because I think the evolution of animation has now gotten so high. So for that, I don't think I can give it an A, but I did enjoy the actual story. Like I got sucked in pretty quickly into trying to figure out what was happening and where we were about to go. And I love fantasy. I love kind of fantastical stories and environments. So you add a little sprinkle of magic in there, you add some witches, and like you got me. So I would probably give it around like the B- range myself. So that's my grade for this one.
My grade is an A-. I enjoy the animation. I know it's 20 years old, but I thought it was visually stunning, especially when you're talking about like the landscapes. And then it was also visceral. Like we'll talk about it, but when old sis got the curse put on her, I was like, yo, wow. We're going there. This escalated really quickly. I thought the story was great. I love we'll get into it after the spoiler alert, but just how the story unfolded. I did appreciate it. And I actually look forward to looking into more of Ghibli studio films. Let's go ahead and get into our spoiler alert. All right. So one of my first questions, what's your relationship like with anime? So Ashley began telling us off mic that it's nothing. She got nada. And I was like, for me, I was a Sailor Moon girly. I also watched Pokemon.
Right.
I think I watched like the popular stuff. I did not get into Dragon Ball Z. But Ashley, you're telling me you got none of that.
No Pokemon even.
I know about all of the big pop culture parts of anime. I just don't watch it. Right? Like, I know who Pokemon is. I know Pikachu. Me and Delora's daughter sat and she showed me the whole set of cards recently. I'm yes, I know some of these people.
Yeah.
Okay. But to watch the films or shows, that's never been my bag. So I've never gravitated towards it. But it is interesting now that I've watched one to be like, what have I been missing out on? I feel like I first heard about Sailor Moon because of Meg the Stallion or something too. So again,
really?
And like Halloween and some of the girlies.
Growing up. That's when I watched it growing up.
No. I was a Nickelodeon kid hard. So no, I did not catch it. But again, I'm always open. And to be fair, there's not a lot I don't consume with entertainment. So it's actually kind of fun to have something that I have not sunk my teeth into yet.
Yeah.
So
that was something that I was telling Brandon, I had the starter kit of anime, right? But the fact in our initial conversation, you were talking about Ghibli Studios and ABC XYZ. I'm like, whoa, I know nothing about this, but this is why it's exciting because I love pop culture. I'm a pop culture enthusiast, so I like to learn about like what people get excited about when it comes to culture. So Brandon, love to get your thoughts on anime, what type of anime you enjoy, and then what you can tell us about Ghibli Studios.
As far as anime goes, especially growing up in Detroit, there's a weird correlation between Black culture and anime.
It is.
It's so weird. Like, so many of the guys that I grew up with, we could all relate, being friends. Like, back in middle school, some of the names that you probably haven't thought about in years. Aljawan Jordan.
Oh my God.
Like Sheldon Finn. Like we were, we would talk about Dragon Ball, and this was in a time when anime was not readily available. It was, we saw it as cartoons. We saw it, the art style was different, but it was not readily available. Like you would only see anime. Look, Dragon Ball would come on before church on Sundays. That's how sparse, anime was. And Pokemon would come on
every day after school.
For us, for me, it was first thing in the morning. I would catch it first thing in the morning at like 7:30 because that's when my dad would get me up and I would go downstairs and wake myself up. Pokemon would be on. But the lengths that you would have to go through to watch anime. And there's one movie in particular that every young boy watch. It's like, you're becoming a man now. Ninja Scroll.
Which is it?
Ninja Scroll. There's a movie called Ninja Scroll, and it's about this guy that's trying to protect this woman. These 4 assassins are trying to get her, and all of them have these separate abilities. Now, this is a coming of age movie for all young men because this was the first movie that a lot of us, the first animated movie that any of us saw with boobs in it. And we were like, yo! Like, it was one of those things. And the only reason I saw it because I didn't get my hands on it. I had an older brother. And he got his hand, he had his hands on Ninja Scroll when he was in high school, and I was like in the 7th or 8th grade. So to answer the question, because I could go all night on this, I tend to focus on more action oriented, more horror, more sci-fi, paranormal animes, as opposed to, there's so many different genres, your slice of life, your high school, your love animes, that sort of thing. Like those sort I kind of stay away from. Like there's literally an anime where the devil gets bored in hell and he starts working at McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's like, I want to do something. I want to do something different, and that's like a slice of life comedy anime. And he's learning lessons along the way. But yeah, I tend to some of the more familiar ones that I like are of course Dragon Ball, but Yu Yu Hakusho, the more recent ones, Solo Leveling, Kaiju number 8, and a surprising one that just came out of nowhere, which is a sports anime. It's about driving. Initial D is like my all-time favorite anime. It's about a boy that is racing up and down mountains in Japan. Not going to nerd out on it, but excellent anime.
Well, what I will say to that is I think it's interesting that you talk about boys and loving anime. I feel like, in the age of the Disney princess, anime was very boy centric, you had very like strong leads and things like that. So I could see how, guys tend to gravitate towards that versus girls, from what my understanding is. And then the thing that I've also noticed about anime is they're not afraid to talk about powers, and they're not afraid to talk about demons and spiritual elements too. And I think that's probably why I didn't get into it that much growing up, because my parents were not playing with that.
Yeah.
Even in this movie, we have Calcifer. I'm going to call him Cal or Fire Demon, because I feel like this is a little bit too close. You know what I mean? It's a little too close.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about this film. So we meet Sophie. She's the eldest daughter. As I mentioned in the summary, her father had passed, but she's working in the hat shop. She has this beautiful younger sister. Her mom is driving about town, finding new husbands and things, but she has very low self-esteem.
Yeah.
One day, again, I think it's very interesting because I feel like war is always very prevalent in this world. One day she went to visit her sister, Letty, and she was being harassed by these guards. And all of a sudden we get the iconic words, "There you are, sweetheart. I'm sorry I'm late. I've been looking everywhere for you." Let's talk about a meet cute, okay? I like to get you all's initial reactions to both Sophie and Howl.
I mean, the guys were extra aggressive to kick this off, right? I was like, what era are we in? What's happening? Is rape imminent around every corner, or does it just feel this way? So I was more relieved than anything. Like, I don't even know if I got a chance to think of it as a mute cute so much as thank God you're rescuing her from whatever these two gentlemen may have had planned, right? Because especially the one who said, "Oh, I think she's even cuter when she's scared." I was like, "Oh no, what is happening?" But I mean, he was a cutie. Obviously, you see him with his little earrings on, his little drip, little necklace.
I thought he was he looked like a flamboyant magician to me. I was like, what is happening? He had some
Prince vibes. He was a pretty boy.
Well, can I also say this? I feel like every anime has somebody that looks like Michael Jackson to me. Like, you know what I mean?
What?
It's like they're too pretty. Like, it's just like it's giving, you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
but, I mean, it was a part of his character too. Like his vanity is a part of his character.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I mean, I was just happy that, she didn't get pulled into a dark corner. But obviously, when you have, it seems like this man is wanted by all the other ladies, even if he may kill you, there's something to it. That was what I was thinking to start.
Yeah.
The ladies were willing to risk it all.
Yeah, they was like, what'd they say? He'll destroy your heart. But he only does that to the beautiful ones. Like, excuse me. I need to be more desirable to be snapped, to be murdered by this man.
Right.
Have my heart stolen.
Me, right?
Yeah. Pick me. Anyway.
For me, I really loved, I did love this scene, especially seeing that as how, she was saved by Howl. But everything they just set up with this scene. One thing that I love about Miyazaki movies is, and the difference between traditional American films as opposed to animated films. Like if this was an American movie, they would have the synopsis. We're so used to in a world where, and we let what's going on. In this movie, they're just like, okay, people are living life. And you're like, what's going on? They're really,
a scene.
Yeah, they just really drop you into a scene. And quick fact about Miyazaki, why I feel he does as well is the people closest to him, they know that they call him a professional people watcher, because that's like one of his favorite pastimes in Japan. He just sits and watches people, and that's where he gets the majority of inspiration for some of his best movies. And him just being able to see that, just see how people interact and the flow of life, and just put that into film and just, have the audience go with it. Even up to that scene, because even after that, when she's walking with Howl, not to get ahead, but it's like, oh, you're a wizard. Okay. So yeah, I really love that aspect. And as confused as the guards walked away, I thought that was pretty funny as well.
Mm-hmm.
We learned very quickly that Howl, he got people trying to get him.
Yeah. Are they people? Because it quickly turned into a Harry Potter situation to me. I was like, are these Dementors or
right? What is going on here?
Touche. But yeah, he was just like, you know what? Let me get you out of here, and we gonna have to fly just a little bit. That's my girl. I also find it very
I like how you just smoothly went over that's my girl, because that line, the delivery of that line, I was like,
yes, it was odd. The first time you watch it, it's very unusual. Yeah. And, Sophie being so blinded by her insecurities, she's just like, oh my God, talking to her sister. I don't think that was Howl. He wouldn't have talked to me. But as I mentioned, things escalated quickly. Again, Sis went back to the hat shop just to be face to face with the Witch of the Waste. Chica put a spell on her. When I tell you the first time I saw this, I was devastated. I was like, first of all, what does this literal witch know that I don't know? Because I'm over here minding my business, and you're like, tell Howl, send my regards or something like that. Like, and you turned me into a 90-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And again, to me, this is where the animation was so visceral. Like those folds, like that before and after was just very jarring to me. But I'm not gonna lie, Sophie took it and rolled with it.
Yeah.
Were you surprised on how quickly she was like, okay, I'm an old lady now?
Right. And I have to ask, though, because I rewatched this movie, I love the movie, and I was pretty much up on it as far as remembering. But, that scene, I just had to ask with you two. First thing that you would do if that happened to you. You met the Witch of the Waste and she's turned you into this. What's the first thing that's going to happen?
Praying to Jesus.
I was going to say, cry. So I'm like, all right. Yes, that was it.
I would have wallowed a lot longer than Sophie. I would have.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. But I have to say, physically, yes, she was older, but it seemed like her sight and her overall mobility was not bad for the age. So I'm like, goals,
Well, except for a hunchback there for a little bit. She was very, vertical.
She does need a cane too, right? Yeah.
Well, horizontal and then vertical. The other thing I would do is I would have been very angry. Like when you talk about she took it better, like I would have been like, where is this bitch tonight?
Yes. We meet at dawn, like
girl.
And not only that, but I think it was especially cruel. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put this curse on you, and before you left, and you can't tell nobody that did it.
And, oh my God, I think that's the part that pissed me off the most. I was like, trapped. It was the immediate feeling of trapped. I'm like, Hal only saw her once. Like, how is he gonna know who she is? And that's when I really got invested in this story, because again, they only met once face to face. This curse is put on her. How are they going to cross paths again? And is he going to be able to recognize her? Right. Yeah. So all of these things were rolling around in my head. And as I mentioned, Sophie pretty much was like, all right, bet, let me go ahead and get into this moving castle. This was very Wizard of Oz for me. When she is, making her way up the mountain, and she needed a cane, and she gets Turnip Head, this scarecrow.
Yeah.
I was like, is everyone cursed here? Like,
what has gone on? What? And like,
y'all need the Lord. Like,
right.
This is crazy.
And the thing is, y'all just accept it. Like, oh, this is my life now.
Yes.
This is my life now.
That is so true. Oh, you're cursed too. Okay, I'm headed to this moving monstrosity over here. Let's talk about the moving castle, shall we? Would you get on it?
I mean, at this point, why not? Like, what do you have to lose? Where else you got to go? Might as well roll with the punches.
Literally.
Yeah, I'm in screw mode myself at that point. Like, I'm already old. What I got to lose? I'm probably going to die going up this mountain, so might as well.
Oh, man. I'll tell you, though, Sophie, her determination was admirable.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
I agree. We never complain about her work ethic. You could tell that she was very, good at what she did, but she was very diligent at what she did when it came to hat making.
I was about to say something crazy.
Like what?
Let's say, like, these are the things you develop when you think you're ugly. You know what I mean? Woo! Like you develop great character. And she wasn't even ugly. No. That's the thing. She
wasn't even ugly. I wish we had gotten a little bit more insight in that, but honestly, people can have those feelings even if they had the best families too. So it's not like,
very true.
You know what I mean? That's a personal journey, literally, that she had to take on her own.
Yeah, but let's be honest, it's probably parenting because her mama was, it's probably something with the parents.
Probably. So she makes her way onto the castle and she meets a fire demon named Calcifer. They quickly decided to help each other with their curses because, again, everyone's apparently cursed. And she was like, all right, I'm about to be the cleaning lady of this new place. Were you surprised how quickly people just let her literally go into this house? To me, in my mind, this moving monstrosity is like to be completely off limits because, again, you have this grand wizard who is out here getting the pretty girl hearts.
Yeah.
The idea that it's like, oh, well, welcome. To me, it just felt very quick, and that was odd to me.
Yeah.
Like worse security?
Yeah. Right. Like there wasn't a curse on the door. Like
there
you got in.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the women, remember at the beginning of the movie when they were seeing Howl's Castle in the first place, they saw it at the distance. They were like, oh, look, there's Howl's Castle. And they were talking about the bad things about this place.
Right.
But as far as the flow and as far as moving in, when you watch Studio Ghibli movies, you'll notice that is a common trend in those movies. That's kind of the flow. They see people and they just kind of go along with it. It's like, yep, this is me now. So and this is the scene. So I just kind of took it around with it.
One of the things again about Sophie that makes her kind of like the one. Mm-hmm. She was like, okay, so I'm about to clean this place, but I'm hungry. Let me go ahead and use this fire to cook. There's this young boy there, Markle, and he's like, first of all, who are you? How are you in here? And you absolutely can't use this fire. Only Howl is allowed to do it. And she was like, no, we're going to make this happen. And to me, that was a major signal for sure of like who she is to this world. How about you all? Did you pick up on that, or was that over your head initially?
It was over my head. Like, I didn't think about it because I didn't know that there was any element of the one in this story, right? Mm. I didn't think that's where we were going. I'm thinking like this is action, adventure, fantasy. So I wasn't thinking about it in those terms at all. I was just like, where there's a will, there's a way. And she said, I'm old now, so I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
That's what a lot of old people say. That pan. I'm going to say what I want to say.
Fry me some eggs.
What I want to do.
Yeah. I have no more F's to give. Taraji said when you turn 50, you run out of them. So she's 90.
She evaporated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is just a side note. One thing about animation, and then specifically anime, the way they make food is so fascinating to me. It's like they make it like low-key appetizing. And the way the way he just flutters in and out, and he's just like, oh, who are you? Call me Grandma Sophie. He's like, okay, Sophie, we gonna have 6 eggs and some bacon, okay?
Yeah.
But just even the cracking of the egg and everything like that, it was just very like, it looked delicious.
Yeah. That's another thing about Studio Ghibli movies as well. If I'm not mistaken, Miyazaki really likes to cook as well, so they tend to put that in a lot of their movies. Like another movie where cooking sticks out is Ponyo. One that I really want you to watch, Delora. It's about this girl. She's a fish person, and she has ham for the first time, and just experiencing her having meat for the first time and how much she loves it is just so. This scene kind of goes along with that. You know, like you said, they make it look appetizing, and there's always a sort of warmth to it. Like when they all sat down and ate breakfast together. I really like that about Ghibli movies.
I just love bacon, so absolutely.
Period. Okay. We know this place is magical because it belongs to a wizard.
Yeah.
This door, depending on which color the spinny wheel lands on, will pretty much open a door to another place, another world. If you all had 4 locations at your fingertips, what would they be?
Wouldn't it? That is a question right there.
Do they all have to be on Earth?
No, this is your magical
castle. Heaven's in there. Heaven's in there. Go ahead and put that in there. Strong.
Goodness. You got 3 more. Go on.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Oh, Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say a beach somewhere.
Yeah. Give me Hawaii.
A mountain place somewhere.
One of my friends is about to go to Hawaii. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I'm not really mountains, but it would be like, give me like a great city experience. So maybe like Chicago or just a city I love. Let's say Chicago. That'll be 3. That's my favorite U.S. city. Then 4 that I can just get to in a blink, my mama's house.
Oh, I love that.
I like that.
Yeah, I'll probably do my family house. When I say mountain, I'm thinking like definitely scenic, gorgeous cabin near a bubbling brook or something like that.
A bubbling brook. Okay, alliteration. We know you're a reader out here, baby.
A babbling brook. Wow. This movie has really got her in the spirit, I think.
All right, Brandon, give me some locations, sir.
I have to take Ashley's idea. I'm the one with the doorway to my parents' place, not only because it's a good idea, but number 2, Delora, you know this, my parents decided after they retired to move to East Jesus Nowhere. So that drive is just...
They want peace. They want peace, right? Like be in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. But I mean, and you know, I'm happy for them, but you know, just being able to get there at the twist of a knob. A beach, of course. I would like to be in a forest with a scenic morning view where I can go and pray and meditate and really get my mind going. So yeah,
they call it forest bathing. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Oh yeah, it's a Japanese concept. I'm learning more about that and how it's great for lowering blood pressure, clearing the mind, things along those lines. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, thank you all for that. So yeah, we find out very quickly Howl is this wizard, but he's also this creature. Because we have war and he's over here flying. We find out that, you know, there's warring kingdoms and they have their wizards. And when they're in this like animal form, they can get lost into it, you know, and that was very, very interesting. This is the part where I wish there was like a little bit more information, especially with the war. Because like, do you feel like the war was essential to the plot, or do you feel like it was more of a backdrop of what world Sophie and Calcifer and Turnip Head and Howl lived in?
I feel like it was more of a backdrop. Again, I know that you said that you were going to bring up the book later into the podcast, so I'm not trying to get into that.
No, go ahead, go for it.
The war aspect wasn't in the book at all. It was
not.
Yeah. This was more so something for the movie. So it was more so to move the plot along, especially with that part at the end that I'll wait to get to. But yeah, it was definitely in the background. Like I did find that fascinating though, because they had the flags of the different territories that were fighting. What was it? It was the Royal City, and what was the other one? Do you remember?
I do not know. I do know that Howl, though, had aliases
Yeah.
in both. He was known as both Wizard Jenkins and that was very black to me.
Yeah.
And the Great Wizard Pendragon.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think they did a great job really explaining who the two warring kingdoms are and why they were fighting. What I read in my research though was that Miyazaki was against the Iraq War, and this was part, art is a reflection of the times. It can also be the canary in the coal mine, and so it was very interesting that he decided to show this imagery in this film. And yeah, Howl was out here very much involved in the war, but also trying not to get lost. So speaking of him and his aliases, he was summoned by the king to show up to the palace. He didn't want to do it. Now, before I get into this, when she cleaned that house, she cleaned it so well that she mixed up his beauty regimen. That scene was so unexpected and hilarious to me. Ashley, your face, I need to know. He was like, quote, "No point in living if I can't be beautiful."
I was stunned. I was like, this like smooth, cool, calm, and collected, floats into the room, had a full meltdown because his beauty potions got mixed up. Like, I didn't even know this was within his character. So I was like shocked when he came running down the steps like that. And then you see him little booty crack showing. He don't know what to do with himself in his little towel. He was distraught.
Marco had me cracking up talking about he's calling on the spirits of darkness. And the last time this happened was when a girl broke his heart.
I just was not
all his business.
I was not prepared for his character to be like this. I was not prepared.
This scene was actually it's kind of a callback to the book, because in Howl's Moving Castle, his character is completely different, and as well as his interaction with Sophie. Like, they bicker a lot in the book. He's more, what's the word? He's more pessimistic with her. He's petty. He's really petty with her.
Got it.
Like at one point in the book, they're bickering and arguing, and he just looks at her. He's like, "Why are you here? Like why are you here? Wouldn't it just be better if you went home?" So they bicker and argue, and this small scene was just them, paying tribute to his character in the book.
Interesting. Thank you for that insight, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of came out of nowhere, especially with him turning into the goo and kind of melting and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you also brought up the book, because the woman who wrote the book was British. And I say this because when I was watching this film, I'm just like, what is up with these Eurocentric features of these people? Like, this is Japanese, right? And I'm like, I as, again, a Black person living in America, race is everything. And we also know, standards of beauty. And I'm just like, I hope they don't feel like they have to do this. Like, you know what I mean? This is me talking out of me not fully understanding. But then when I found out that the lady was British and she, made this magical world and they are white people, I was like, okay, I get it. Because again, I was just like, who is this blonde hair, blue-eyed man in this Japanese movie?
But that's a common trend within anime as well. It really doesn't matter which anime that's kind of changing. I mentioned in ones like Solo Leveling, where they're telling you that these people are Korean and they have that look to them. But generally, you'll see it. You'll see people in the main characters in anime, and they just look white, with their eyes and everything. And it's not until you may see like a live adaptation of the movie, and it's a Japanese person, you're like, oh yeah, they are a Japanese person in the manga or the anime. So yeah, that's a very common thing in anime.
Is it to make it palatable to other people or something along those lines?
No, because they still haven't gotten black people, right?
Listen,
in anime.
Are there black people in anime? I know there's black people who make, anime like movies, but
yeah. Black people are getting more representation when it comes to anime. Like there is a character, a very popular anime called Fire Force, where there are these fire monsters that they have to fight, and then they're working with the church, and the church cleanses them and stuff. There's a prominent character from another firehouse, and he's black. But the thing is, that was a big deal when they showed off a black character in a prominent anime. My Hero Academia, one of the most popular characters that you may have seen Megan Thee Stallion, dress as. She's like super strong, really fast, and she dresses like a rabbit. She's black, but again,
oh wow,
far and few in between. Mm-hmm. So yeah, not really much representation. And so yeah, it's not really to make it palatable. Also, with Japanese culture, they're more in tune with white culture and more in tune to look at white people as a whole in terms of fashion and things like that as well.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay. Howl gets summoned to the palace. He and Sophie comes up with the great plan that she will pose as his mother, and he will follow close behind, pretty much going to tell the king, you know what? My son's a coward. He's not going to, show up. Sophie gets there. She runs into the Witch of the Waste. Man, oh man, oh man. I am really shocked by the level of compassion Sophie gave this woman, because ultimately we find very quickly that this summoning was a trap by the lead witch in charge, Madame Solomon. She steals all of the Witches of the Waste powers. I guess this is a common thread in Miyazaki's films, compassionate characters. Sophie's a good one. Yeah. I don't know if Jesus is still working on me. I mean, I don't know. What y'all think?
Same.
And that's
I might have kicked her down them steps.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and that scene was powerful too. Like she's struggling up the stairs, and she's telling her, "Come on, you can do it." Like, aren't you gonna don't you want to see the you've been summoned here. Don't you want to see it? You can make it. That's a common thread with Miyazaki as well. His philosophy is that there are no good and bad people, that we all have the capacity, rather, to do good and bad things. Mm-hmm. So as opposed to having good and bad people in movies, he's more fluid like that.
But I will say, again, when it comes to the Witch of the Waste, I'm like, sis, you're useless. You can cast these spells, but you can't undo them. Make that make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Halfway wizardry. Like, what is this?
Oh, she was giving strong Ursula vibes up until now, because I was like, Ursula would never.
She would never. And Ursula knew her crafts. Okay. But Madame Solomon brought up something that was interesting. She stripped the Witch of the Waste's power and said that her demon was greed. And I feel like that definitely was represented in her appearance, and then like her love for young boys' hearts. But what was Cow's demon then? Was it selfishness?
I think Howl's was supposed to be vanity. I thought
vanity. Okay,
I thought.
Brandon, that's what I wanted to ask.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember what Cow's was. And I think that it has to go with him constantly being afraid. Remember, he was in that place, and I understand that he constantly needs to feed off of fire. But remember, anytime she was trying to take him away, he was constantly like, "Hey, watch it, that sort of thing." If I remember, please forgive me if I'm totally wrong on that.
No. I think at this rate, I'm just curious on you all's thoughts. So there are no right or wrong answers, I promise.
I just thought I remember Solomon mentioning, so that's the only reference point I had was for that.
Yeah, and I think this is what I was also very interested by. It was like Solomon was warning Sophie, like, oh my goodness, how he doesn't have a heart. A demon took his heart, years ago. Yeah. That lore was so interesting, because the other part that was brought up even before that scene, when Sophie showed up to the castle, that curse that she delivered on behalf of the Witch of the West, that pretty much was like, you who swallowed the fallen star, you heartless man, your heart belongs to me. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, what is this gorgeous man apparently not having a heart? Like, what does that mean? But he sure enough followed her, but he posed as the king instead of the dog. I thought the dog would have been a better choice personally. Showing up as the king was like, yo, I thought it was so funny because the lead witch was like, oh, you're so, what term did she use? She's like, oh, you're so poised today. I'm like, she know good and damn well that king is more like Trump.
Yeah.
Than any dignified.
I was waiting for it.
Right, they make their way home. You know, this movie really hits on a lot of things that I read in books where it's like found family.
Yeah.
I think that's what made this movie really heartwarming. They brought back the head witch in charge's dog, the powerless witch of the West, into literally their moving castle. Howl makes it bigger, and he also makes it more personable for Sophie. It looks just like her home from before. And he added a new location to the magical door, which was this gorgeous field of flowers. You know, I love a good romance moment, but do you feel like Howl was catching feelings at this point, or what were your thoughts at this point in the film?
Yeah, I absolutely thought that he was catching feelings at this point. And can I just say that this is a beautiful scene? Ashley, I understand how you're looking at the caliber of animation and, you know, how far we've come and how beautiful and enriching we're able to make film. But I have to say, like, this scene in particular, and I will always have respect for Studio Ghibli because they're one of the last studios that still does hand-drawn animation, and to do that, you know, to do that scene was completely hand-drawn. Even if when Sophie is sitting down and you look at the flowers, they're more so delicately made splatters on the canvas as opposed to flowers like a computer would do. I absolutely love that and really appreciated that scene.
Don't get me wrong, it was still a place I would want to go. Like the way that it was depicted.
Yeah.
You know, it felt magical for sure.
Yeah.
But this is, to me, it felt like, again, I didn't know we were devolving into a love story. Like, yes, everyone's talked about Hal and this respect, but I didn't know that's where we were going with him and Sophie necessarily. Even amongst witches, demons, and all the things, always got to have a little love in there. So yes, it did seem like they had formed a connection at this point. And, you know, despite his reputation, I feel like he saw her inner beauty, because even that scene where she was asleep and you see that it seems like he's seeing her regular younger version of her, not this older version of her. I was like, oh, guess that may be love.
I'm glad that you said that, because that was one of the areas I wanted to talk about, this curse, right? It's like when we saw that in the film, I was wondering, like, did he see her as she actually was the whole time? And maybe the way that we saw her was how she viewed herself, because that was what the actual curse was. You know, I don't want to get too deep, but some of the books that I enjoy, one of them is called, and it's also a scripture, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? So what that means is like, you think you're ugly, you think you're like an old lady. Well, yeah, you are. Like, you know what I mean? I thought the curse was very interesting in that way.
Well, it also starts shifting so much as we move towards the end of the movie, right? In and out of how she looks.
Yes, like how she was standing up for Howl in front of the head witch. Her beauty shined through, and it just made me realize confidence played a major role with her going back to herself.
Yeah, that scene was actually pretty amazing, and I'm glad that you brought it up, because that confidence and seeing her become young again, and then the Witch of the Waste was like, wow, you're really beautiful, and then she immediately became old again. She didn't believe that in herself. Somebody was telling her that, and she didn't believe in herself, so she became the old woman again, and that was her curse, her inability to see the beauty of herself.
Right. Ooh, well said. Okay, writer Brandon. We're in the third act here. All right. The war is going strong. One of the things I also realized watching this, preparing for this particular recap, is Madame Salomon. Was she the ultimate big bad at this rate? Because she is out here hunting these people, and all they trying to do is just live their lives as peaceful as possible during wartime, I guess.
Yeah.
Got her mama coming in, dropping off stuff to spy on them. I was really heartbroken by this.
This is why I say her mama ain't ish. That's why I said this all comes back to parent. Because if I can't trust my mama not to rat me out, and for what? What that lady give you?
And for what? Exactly.
That your next husband ain't gonna give you.
Your own daughter, yes. And again, that scene, I wish that there was a bit more with that. I wish that there was like a context scene, somewhere thrown in the movie with the queen talking to her mom and kind of setting her up like, what is this? And then kind of leading into that because it kind of came out of nowhere.
We need the deleted scenes. Yeah. Where are the deleted scenes?
It just kind of fit in with the standard flow of a Ghibli movie because, seeing her mother again and the joy and the warmth that's standard. So when there was betrayal there, it's like, oh no, So.
But what I also thought was interesting was her mom saw her as a 90-year-old woman and didn't even bat an eye at it. So that also proves like you're either trying to get out of here or you just you're just not going to ask me more. You're just going to just accept this. Oh, honey, you look like you're 90 years old. Like, what?
And the way I took it was just like her mom floats in. She says, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. Everybody thought you left because of me, but I gotta go because my new husband is waiting for me." Like I was like, "So this is all about you. You don't care. You don't care how I'm doing. You don't see what's happened to me. You don't like no concern.
You assume the witch over there is the landlady and not." You didn't ask any questions.
Right. You're not trying to introduce your new man to your 90-year-old daughter. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. No bueno.
So the conflict really heats up. Basically, drastic measures needed to be made. I do love this part of the film where Howl literally stops the bomb from hitting their home. And he pretty much was like, I used to have to run away, but now I want to protect you. I do feel like that was growth for him, right?
Yeah.
But all is not okay because Sophie's like, we need to get him out of the heat of this fight. She does something extremely drastic and removes Calcifer from the moving castle and it collapsed. Did we really think there was any other option?
No.
I mean, Calcifer, I can see how she probably thought he was a bit bombastic and like, I run this whole house. It's me. It's me. It's me. Well, she really got the answer there. She removes him. She ultimately did that to save Howl. She was trying to get the house moving again. It didn't quite work. This is where I was like, this is why we don't make deals with demons. Yeah. He was like, oh, I need more power. How about your eyeballs?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Right.
Excuse me?
And then after all is said and done, see what I did with that? Imagine what I could have done if I had your eyes. I was like, oh, wow.
And that's when you find out he was actually Howl's heart.
Yeah.
You find out he was the heart because he sure enough snatched her hair up real quick, though. You see that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I said, see, that's a non-black girl because I would have been devastated if my ponytail just got ate in my face like that. Devastated.
Oh, my gosh. Whew. The Witch of the West said in the very beginning, your heart belongs to me, and she stuck to that. What I thought was very interesting, and they highlighted when she grabbed hold of Howl's heart, it was all consuming. And I was like, ooh, this represents how greed can be so all consuming, right? She's holding on with these strong hands to this heart that don't belong to her,
right?
But she's also being consumed by fire. And then Sophie, again, being the compassionate one, is like, oh my goodness, let me save you. Throws water on the heart. I was like, sis, no. What are your thoughts at this point in the film?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you really didn't think this through, did you? I mean, because Calcifer, love him or hate him, like, where is this going to go now that Calcifer is gone? So yeah, just that scene as a whole, I don't know, it kind of got to me. I'm not gonna lie. I got used to I got used to Cal I got used to Cal being there. I didn't want to like him at the beginning because there was that whole thing where she was like, I can't trust you. And he was like, no, you can't, but you might as well go along with me anyway because I mean, it's better to be stuck here. So I was kind of wondering his angle, and for that to happen and for me to be like, oh no, like that says something to the writing to me. So I did like that.
Let me tell you, I love a good flashback moment. And when you realize her going into the past to see the young Howl and how he and Calcifer met, to me, this is where I thought this was just fantastic. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this all makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And the fact that he saw her from the past, her from the future, saying, it's Sophie, quote, it's me, Sophie. I know how to help you now. Find me in the future.
Yeah.
This is where I'm like, yes, this is so good. I love it. I love it. Because you got a chance to go back to the beginning and him saying,
there you are.
There you are, sweetheart. Sorry I'm late. I've been looking everywhere for you. And so for me, this is where it's like, one of the questions I have for y'all is, what do you think the movie Castle really represent? And I think I'm going to answer my own question. It's like, it's literally Howl's heart looking for Sophie.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I'm
such a romantic, but I love it. He's literally willing to go any and everywhere to find this woman, right?
Yeah.
Like
that. It kind of reminds me of my parents actually, because listening to them talk, I listened to my mom say this about my dad for years. Before they met, she was like, I was looking for you all this time. I just didn't know it was you. And she says that about my dad. And so like that really, I really saw a parallel with that. And it was just beautiful. He knew what his heart was looking for. He just didn't know it was her. So.
Oh, y'all are so soft. It's so cute.
Okay, Capricorn.
Right.
Okay.
Right. No, it was very sweet. And I mean, I didn't think about it in that way in terms of like the analogy of it. But yeah, that does make a lot of sense because you think about the level of power he had, all the things he could have been doing. Why was he having a mechanical little thing hopping around town, So it actually makes more sense when you put it that way, that he was searching for Miss Sophie.
In the film, Sophie places Calcifer back into Howl's heart. Another very famous line. He was like, oh, this is heavy. And she's like, a heart is a heavy burden. And I thought that was, people get this tattooed on them, apparently. Like, what does that mean to you?
For me personally, this went into his cowardice. And like you said, that heavy burden of, carrying the weight of your responsibilities, carrying the weight of heartbreak, because the witch of the Wastes is the one that stole his heart in the first place, and that's why he was so willing to depart with it. I feel kind of, and having it in the castle because of the burden of that heartbreak. So
interesting, yeah, because he did say that he thought she was very beautiful, but realized very quickly she was not. Yeah. She was not.
I wonder how old she Ashley? Really is supposed to be. Like, yes, we get to see her real look, but how old is she?
Yeah.
How long has she been around?
And how was she looking when he was into her? Because when she walked in the store, she looked like a thumb. So
yeah, facts.
So Sophie is out here kissing everybody, because I guess her heart grew 10 sizes that day too.
I'm so glad you said that though. At the end of the movie, I'm like, is she kissing everybody and everything?
She's kissing everybody, and she kisses Mr. Turniphead, who was actually a prince. And the fact that his
justice for that lifted, prince.
by the one that he loved. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he absolutely loved her. Because there was another scene when she was crying in the rain. He brought her the umbrella. Like, I just was like, and the way that the story was like, you know, he loves her, but her heart belongs to another, and that's okay because hearts change sometimes. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Justice for that prince. Why would y'all have him fall in love with a woman y'all know he's not going to be able to have?
Unavailable, because apparently she had Howl's heart for years, literally.
Justice for this prince.
And see, here's the thing about the prince, which kind of knocked it off a point for me. So, okay, we're fighting the war, right? They're fighting the war in Howl's moving castle, right?
Okay, yes.
What are they fighting for?
Apparently, he has something to do with it.
Okay, so one kingdom, their prince went missing, and they blamed the other king. They're like, we don't know where he is. And they were like, you're lying. And that's why the war started.
Got it.
Somehow the prince got turned into Turnip Head, and now that he's a prince again, they're like, oh, we found him. And the war ended. So the movie was essentially about him.
Was it Solomon who turned him into the Turnip Head to cause the war for her own devices?
Ooh. No, because I think that Lady Solomon was the one that wanted him back in the first place and started the war. Mm. So yeah, as far as who turned Turnip Head into Turnip Head, that was never explained, and why, for that matter.
Turnip Head is my MVP of this movie because he was just so unexpected to me, but always so pleasant. Why do you think Howl's Moving Castle continues to resonate with audience after 20 years?
It's just captivating. Just from the very beginning of just going into this world and just seeing how they live and just being, just kind of, for lack of better terms, waking up into this world and going off onto this adventure and just going with this flow. And even the characters that you don't want to like the Witch of the Waste when she's holding on to the heart, and even the Scarecrow when he stepped in and saved everybody's life at the last minute and messed up his pole. All of these things, all of these moments are just so captivating. And again, it's beautiful to watch. Like you said, when Sophie was turning into the witch and that hand-drawn animation and showing her, when she not turning into a witch, but when she was turning old. And I'm seeing all that hand-drawn animation and just seeing how this was changing her and how she carried everything in stride. It was, and just quirky little elements as well. Like Markle, he was turning into an old man. I'm working on my magic. Throughout the whole movie, he didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to. He
was so adorable, though.
Right. It's just those little whimsical elements of the movie that just make it so good. And as you can see, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world, what time frame. This movie stands the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Well said. How about you, Ashley?
Oh, with everything Brandon said, I agree. I have nothing of value to add outside of that because I just watched it for the first time. So,
any final thoughts?
For me, I think it was a great first dip into the anime pond because again, it was very unexpected. I didn't have any knowledge of what this was going to be. Even I didn't read what the story was actually really going to be. So I went in pretty cold the way I enjoy with most projects, and it was surprising. I would be interested to see some genres that don't deal with demons though, because as our podcast listeners know, that ain't my fave.
Yeah.
I feel like I need some holy oil to be going around my house when I'm done. But, it is a captivating story. I love that there are so many genres within anime to explore. So, again, the fact that there's something in entertainment to still get excited about and dip my toe in, because Brandon, you're so into it. Your energy has been inspiring me throughout the episode of I love how you light up about this is the way people must look at me and Delora when we talk about certain things.
I know.
When you see someone's passion for something, it's infectious. So it does just make me excited to explore more movies in this genre.
One that I might want to recommend, it kind of goes on the other side of the spectrum, goes very far into the future. It's called Ghost in the Shell. And
is this the one, sorry to interrupt you, that Scarlett Johansson was in that people went ape shit about when it was adapted into a live action?
Yeah, because they did so bad. Oh my God, they did so bad.
But the actual anime version.
Yes.
Yeah.
The anime version is is a classic, and there's an asset. It's called Ghost in the Shell because you have people that are dying and they are uploading their brains into these machines, and it is allowing them to live. And there's this scene where they are talking about they're talking about who are you when we do this, and what is the soul like? Are is this still you? Is this a representation of your very soul, or is this just a copy of who you were? And there's a mystery and a lot of action elements in that movie, but it may be something good to look into. Just a different take, because Ghibli and Ghost in the Shell are very different from each other.
Okay, noted.
Very nice. And my final thoughts, it was a good time. It actually, I think the reason why I loved it so much, especially once you realize, like, Sophie came to Howl as a kid from the future, and how he literally was just looking for her this whole entire time. Spoiler alert. So when I was talking to Brandon about joining us, he was telling me about the different genres. I'm like, yeah, I'm a book girly, and I enjoyed the romance category. And let me tell you, that category is sliced and diced all the way up. And it reminded me of a very popular book, A Court of Thorns and Roses, on how when things are written so well, and like when certain people know certain things already, that, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say spoiler. Everything Rhys says to Farah, he knows exactly what he's saying to her. And you are going in as Farah completely clueless. And when you finally get it, I personally have went back to the beginning and be like, oh my God, he knew the whole entire time. Yeah. And it was so, I would love to relive that again, because it was so much fun. Actually, I convinced her to read it. I don't know if she loved it as much as I did, but I really enjoyed that journey. And so I got a little bit of that with this film. And
I did with the transformation aspect for sure. Like when he's turning into a bird, I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I look forward to watching more Ghibli films and learning more about anime culture. I told you this, I've watched, and this is also a hidden gem of mine, Blue Eye Samurai, which I know is American, but it's like in the anime adjacent or whatever.
Yeah, in the vein of anime, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Yeah. Season 2 is about to come out, so I'm really excited for that. So really, really nice. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. We're going to do some hidden gems. I'll have Ashley go first so Brandon can think, because I don't know if I told him that we do hidden gems, so I apologize. Ashley, what's your hidden gem this week?
Yeah, I have 2, and they are not anime related. So these are going to be out of the genre. But my first one is a new series on Peacock called The Paper. This is from the creators of The Office. This is set 20 years post The Office, and them trying to follow up with those folks. And it leads them to a fledgling paper in Toledo, Ohio. Right? So it's 10 episode first season. It's a cast of characters. I love a office comedy. It's one of my favorites. So I definitely dove into this. And then with my experience in journalism and working for a newspaper and all of that, there was just a lot of takeaways for me that I personally enjoyed. I recommended it to one of my old coworkers who still works for the paper to get her thoughts. But it was just a good time and, like light, easy watch, which was really enjoyable. And then my second hidden gem is something we talked about in the pod already, but I just want to mention it again. It's Highest to Lowest. Spike Lee and Denzel. It is now available on Apple TV Plus. So I did watch it over the weekend. And it's not my favorite Denzel movie, but it was still worth the ride to me. A$AP Rocky is also in this film.
Yes.
And because I know Denzel is going to be allegedly retiring here soon, I just have to continue to devour absolutely everything he does until then.
Is his performance worth it? Because I've heard similar critiques, like they didn't love the movie, but was Denzel's performance great?
Yeah, he still did his thing. he's Denzel Washington, so it was still enjoyable. I think the maybe there's like the overall arc of the movie and some of the pacing and things like that. You know, it is what it is, but it was a ride. Like, I think it's one of those that I didn't necessarily have to go see it in theaters or anything like that, but I definitely wanted to watch it and support it. And so I suggest everybody do the same and bring back your thoughts because we'd love to hear it. So that's it for me. Brandon, have you thought about a couple? One or two?
One that may not necessarily be a hidden gem, but is pretty awesome to me. An animated series that came out of nowhere that's on HBO Max. Some people know about it, but not a lot. I don't feel enough people know about it. It's called Infinity Train. It seems like a teenage cartoon, and it quickly goes off the rails. And it kind of goes there with thoughts of who you are, who you want to be, and oh my goodness, it's insane. It escalates very quickly. So if you have HBO Max, I would recommend Infinity Train.
Good deal.
Thank you. Before I get into my hidden gems, I was also wanting to highlight, I'm looking at Variety. Howl's Moving Castle returns to theaters for Studio Ghibli Fest. So this month, or across the country, September 20th through the 24th, this film will be re-released. Just wanted to highlight that. Nice. I think it'll be really fun. And then for my hidden gems, it is very much Asian inspired. So this anime I got into because of the algorithm courtesy of Instagram. It is called My Happy Marriage. It's 2 seasons. I finished season 1. I'm currently in season 2. It's apparently a slice of life anime, according to Brandon. I didn't know what that meant before our conversation. It's really good. It's again, I feel like book girlies will translate very well to anime in some ways because this is very much grumpy sunshine situation where the husband is like this powerful, angry man, and the girl is a abused young lady. Her low self-esteem got on my nerves though, watching this book. I was like, I don't know if this is a cultural thing, but it's only so much I can take. Okay. Because I'm like, girl, get yourself together. But it is also very sweet. And it's action-packed. And I went in cold for this. Also went in cold for Howl's Moving Castle, which I'm so glad I did. I think it just makes the experience really fun. And then my final hidden gem, also available on Netflix. I look forward to the check in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Bon Appétit, Your Majesty. This is a K-drama, and it is utterly ridiculous, and I love every second of it. It is a girl goes back into the past. This is a Michelin star chef who just won this big competition. This is no spoiler because it's in the beginning. She makes her way back home to Seoul. She has this artifact book and somehow makes her way into ancient Korean times. And she's interacting with the king of the nation, who's known as being a tyrant. And her job is to cook a new meal every day, or her life, he'll kill her. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But what I love about this show is peak enemies to lovers, because he is diabolical and she is utterly goofy. I watch it. My daughter and I watch it on dub. We are set, and they are slowly releasing episodes. There's going to be a total of 12. I believe only 4 are available now. No, 6 are available, and the next 6 are coming out 2. So for the next 3 or 4 weeks, 2 more episodes are coming out over the weekend. And what I also love is the drama is drama, and the cooking is like a cooking show. Like it is so crazy, and I love it. So thank you, K-pop Demon Hunters, because you got me looking at stuff I probably wouldn't have cared for ever. And that's how that cookie.
The algorithm works sometimes.
Crumbles. Yeah. So that's all.
I have to make one point of clarity. I said neither of my hidden gems had anything to do with Japanese culture or anime. That's a lie. Highest to Lowest actually is a remake of a Japanese film by Akira Kurosawa. So
really?
My
Ooh,
bad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my bad. There you go.
Again, that correlation between Black and Asian culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think this is at least the second adaptation that Spike Lee has done of a Japanese feature. Old Boy previously, which I do not recommend. That is on my never watch list.
No,
I've never seen it.
Wait, so you've seen it already?
Yes.
Oh my God. Look, Delora, please listen to me. Watch Old Boy, watch the Japanese version. Watch the original Japanese version. Ashley, say nothing.
Okay.
Because it has, I'm trying to think so I don't mess it up. It has one of the most shocking endings of a movie ever. Okay. Period.
But Spike Lee didn't do it for you?
It's not that he didn't do it for me. It's just that the Japanese version is much more hard hitting, in my opinion.
Got it. Okay.
Long story short, you have this guy that wakes up in a room and he has no clue how he got there, and he's told he's being punished for what he's done. And he's trying to figure out, how to get out, and he's also trying to figure out what he's done. And this movie, what it's known for is there's a hallway fight scene that's in one shot, and it's just him versus like 30 dudes in this one hallway, and it's bloody, it's brutal, and it is awesome. But again, one of the most shocking endings of a movie of all time. That's why they brought it over to America, because
well, the American version utterly devastated me. So go ahead and check out that Japanese version then.
We got homework. Brandon. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. Your insight was so valuable. I really enjoyed our conversation, and friend of the pod. So I can't wait to bring you on again for another wonderful conversation. But thank you, Brandon.
Thank you so much for having me, ladies. It is a complete privilege and an honor to be here. Anytime you want me to come on, I'll be more than happy to come back.
Well, thank you so much. To say you have made the episode what it is would be an understatement. So much appreciated. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please share it out with everybody you know. We will be back. But in the meantime, as always, be blessed.
Bye.